I remember like back in the day, Plenty of Fish was the shit. That was like the well, first of all, it wasn't a lot of dating websites anyway. But Plenty of Fish, Black, what was Black Planet, um, uh, it was another one. It's a lot of them that came and left too. Um, People were using MySpace to meet people too back in the day. Then you had it was a app. It wasn't an app back then. It was just a website. I think they call it Hitch. No, it's Hit. It was Hit or Miss. That was the name of it. I think Hit or Miss turned into Tinder, if I'm not mistaken. Hit or Miss turned into Tinder, if I'm not mistaken. You quote me on that. Yeah, it was Hit or Miss. Back in the day, it was Hit or Miss, Plenty of Fish, and Black Planet, and MySpace, and it was one more, man. But those were the big four that people were on. That at least people around me. I mean, it wasn't a lot of people using them, but the people that a handful of guys that I knew, these are the websites that they were using at the time. But Plenty of Fish was the shit. That was like Plenty of Fish was like Google back in the day. If you wanted to meet somebody like out of town, even out of the country, you know. Now, at the time, I wasn't trying to meet anybody out of the country at the time. I was just trying to meet somebody like the next town over or the next state over, up north, down south. I wasn't trying to meet nobody offline around that time. My mind wasn't even thinking that far, you know, because if I was to meet anybody from another country, it would be in person. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was thinking at the time. I wasn't even, I didn't really start meeting people overseas through websites until 2010. 2010 is when I started meeting people from other countries for the first time. Yeah. And that was on Plenty of Fish. That was Plenty of Fish. And check this out. I still had an account. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I don't know if it exists today, but I still had the same account with Plenty of Fish from back then all the way to 2010. It's the same exact account. But by 2010, they had the app on your phone. Instead, you could use, so what I used to do, I used to go on the website on my computer, and then I used to go and use the app too while I'm on a job or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. And then by 2010, Match.com came on, and Harmony.com, I think that's the name of that site. A bunch of them started coming out around 2010 because Plenty of Fish blew up in Canada. I think the founder was from Canada, if I'm not mistaken. And then I remember this like it was yesterday. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal that came out online. And that shit made the headlines. This is when going viral wasn't common. They didn't even call it viral at the time. But that article, you start seeing that shit everywhere. everywhere. That shit was everywhere in the Wall Street Journal. And this is when meeting someone online became normal. It wasn't weird no more, because you got to realize back in 2005, people wouldn't tell someone how they would meet somebody if they knew they met them online. What they would do is say, hey, how'd y'all meet? Oh, we met at the club or at the restaurant or at the mall. Or they'll tell the person the first place they met in person. They'd be embarrassed to tell them that you met on Match.com. That's how that shit was before that Wall Street article came out. But after that Wall Street article came out, people wasn't afraid to say, hey, I met them on Plenty of Fish. And then we met in person. And the rest is history. And we got married. Yeah. That's how I remember that shit I remember how that shit went down. I remember that shit like it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how times change.